Hi, Mike from the Rural Montana family. We have some exciting news. Not really for you, more for us. We're going on vacation. Well, not right now. It's another 3 months out or so. In August, hopefully nothing changes and we can really go because it will be an exciting road trip with one of our EVs. Don't know which one we're taking yet. We'll still have to figure that out. But today we want to do some planning for it so that we can maybe figure out which one we have to take based on charging locations and so on. So let's dive in. So we will be going from western Montana to southern Utah, actually from the Missoula, Montana area to St. George, Utah. We'll spend about a week down there and we want to visit a couple national parks, Zion and Bryce Canyon. They're relatively close to St. George, and so we should be able to do day trips out of St. George and enjoy those parks. But it's a long trip and it takes a little bit of planning. I mean, if we would have a internal combustion engine car, we probably wouldn't plan much at all because there's a gas station at every corner. But that said, I still see people walking around with gas cans and filling their cars up on the side of the road. So we do a little bit of planning for our EV because there is not a charging station at every corner. But we be traveling basically on interstate highways from here to St. George. So that should not be a problem at all. There is plenty of DC fast charging available for almost every car nowadays. I would say any car that has about a 250 mile or more range, EPA rated range, will probably do that trip real easy. That should not be a problem. Even up here in Montana where we're not having many stations, also in certain parts of Utah or going through Idaho there, it can be a little tricky still. But it's going to be on Interstate 15, which is pretty well traveled. So I would say it's improving, maybe not daily, but monthly. So we're getting more and more charging stations. But a little preparation certainly will help for the trip to get there. Going home will pretty much be the same thing in reverse. And then we need to do a little planning while we're there, because going into national parks can be a little bit tricky depending on which way you're going to get there and how far it is from the location or from the last possible charging location. We gotta look at that. Some of the parks are a little ways out. The lucky thing is most parks actually do offer some level 2 charging. AC charging, it's a little bit slower, but that's just fine because once you're in the park, you plug in and go enjoy the park. Nowadays, you pretty much use public transportation in parks. That's much easier to get around. Some parks even only allow you to pull in and park, and then you have to use public transportation. So you got to check into all these little details as well. We're not going to do all that today. We want to just check into charging. That is our big thing, how to get to St. George and then from St. George to those parks. And we'll see how we can do that. At this point, we're not sure which car we are taking. We do actually have a reservation in for a really super nice SUV. I would say the first SUV that's going to come to the market here. Yeah, you could say the Tesla Model X is an SUV, but not really. $150,000 car, you're not going to take it out into the woods. And you're not going to load it up with all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Well, we have a reservation in that I made 3 years ago for a Rivian. And back when, this was the first pickup truck that was announced, and that's basically what we wanted. In the meantime, things have changed, and we basically need an SUV or something with 7 seats. That's what's missing in our fleet. And so we may or may not get the Rivian by that time. We'll see. So this may be an option to use the adventure vehicle, the Rivian, to do this trip. But currently we don't have it. And so what we're going to do today, we're going to plan it based on the Chevy Bolt. So based on CCS fast charging and level 2 charging, that's what we're doing today. So we are close to Missoula, about 30 miles or so west of Missoula. And that's where we start going. And we plan to charge up to 100% here at home and then start driving and see how far we can go. I already know that we need to take I-90 east to I-15 south. And the intersection of I-90 and I-15 is basically in Butte. And we can make it from here to Butte with the Chevy Bolt. But we have to charge in Butte at the Electrify America charger. And you probably, if you have seen our road trips, that's a charger we commonly go to when we drive over to Idaho to the Cozy Cabin, when we go visit Yellowstone National Park. So I know that part already, but we still put it in here. We're gonna actually use PlugShare today. I like PlugShare. PlugShare is free. I can access it on the computer as well as on the phone, on the app. And I can plan a trip on the computer at home and then pull that trip up in the app. So really nice. A lot of people like a better route planner. A better route planner is another option, obviously, to plan EV road trips. The thing I don't like too much about a better route planner, first of all, there's a free version and a paid version. I don't like to pay. PlugShare is free. So definitely free is better, in my opinion. If you travel all the time and all over the place, and yeah, it may be worth paying the money for a better route planner. But I don't think it's worth paying for the occasional trip like most people do, the time or two a year when you really need to plan something. So I'd rather go free, and PlugShare is free. There is a free version of a better route planner. It doesn't give you all the options that the paid version has, obviously. So there has to be an incentive. Also, I only use the better route planner here and there, just to look and compare PlugShare with better route planner, or sometimes comparing like the Chevy app, using the Chevy Bolt app for navigation and charging, and comparing it to a better route planner. And I have found it's about as inaccurate as what I do on PlugShare. So if that makes any sense, yeah, you can put all these things in on a better route planner, and it takes into account the weather, it takes into account elevation gain, and so on and so forth, the weight of your car, and so on and so forth. And that is great, but if I plan a trip 3 months ahead of time, I don't even know what the weather's going to be. So if I pay for the better version that uses live weather, that may be inaccurate anyway. So it is questionable. If you use a better route planner, hey, that is cool. Let me know what you think about it if you have used it before. Let me know what you like or don't like about it. I prefer PlugShare, and so we're looking at PlugShare today. So we're going to start out basically on PlugShare's website, and we gotta open up the menu. And what we want to do is, first of all, we have our account and we have the Chevy Bolt in there. So that pops up here. We want to choose what chargers we actually would like to show up on PlugShare. So that's the filter we want to do. And so for just driving to St. George, the only thing I pretty much want to see is the CCS chargers. So we're eliminating everything else. We filter out down to the CCS. And then we go down here, plan a new trip. All right. And so let's start this in Missoula. Right there, and we put destination St. George, if I could spell St. George. There we go. Okay, so and then this popped up here on the screen. Let's make this all go away. So and we can see the main route, and it looks like there's a bunch of chargers. Let's zoom in a little more. So bring the screen down here. Okay, and so we can see this green circle here. That is the radius that I can choose how far out I want to search for CCS chargers at this point. And this is a distance, but it's a radius. It's not the actual distance driven on the road. And we can go over here on the right hand side. We can, the range estimate shown right now, 125 miles. That is that circle. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's bring this up to about 150. And the search range along the route, let's make it 10 miles, which means I would be willing to drive up to 10 miles away from my route to find the charger. Okay, so, oops, there we go. Let's bring this up. So right here is the view charger. I'll click on this one. And oh, it's on the repair. We don't like that. That kind of sucks. But why is it on the repair? Every time I've been there, I think at least one of the four, I believe it's 4 chargers, was not working, okay? Sometimes 2, but we were always able to charge, so it hasn't been an issue. So we'll see. Again, we're 3 months out to the trip, so most likely, even if the whole thing is down right now, 3 months later, it hopefully is back up. So we'll look at this. So you can look, click on it. You can look at the charger, and then you can either add it to the trip on the left side here in the column that popped up, or right on the map there. And so we added it to the trip. Let's make it go away. And now our green circle moved. And it moved to Butte, and now I have a 150 mile radius from there. So we can see there's a town pump in Dillon that will have a charger coming soon. By the way, thumbs up to Town Pump. Town Pump is putting in more and more chargers here in the state of Montana. Great. So Town Pump, hey, that's the way to go. Thank you. But it may be there, it may not be there in 3 months. Do I really need it? No, as you can see, my circle actually goes way beyond it. But maybe I want to do here Dell Mercantile. And again, I can look over here. It's got my CCS. There's pictures there. We're not really going into all the details of how PlugShare, what you can see and how it works. We're mainly going through the trip planning here, but you can go in and play with that if you never used it. So, but yeah, we got CCS there anyway, anywhere from 50 to 350. It is a Electrify America, and we can add it to the trip. Okay, let's make that go away. And now let's move along the route. All right, so, And now we got 3 more chargers within our reach here. So it always depends a little bit on how you want to charge. So we were in Dell up here, and now we could just shoot for right here, Idaho Falls, and take another break there. Or we could go here for Shelley, Idaho. Or we could even go, oops, all the way down here. There's a couple. I think there may even be 2. Let's zoom in a little more. Let's bring this back up. Looks like there's 2 right on top of each other. Yep. Here we go. So there's again an Electrify America, or there's a Nissan dealer that has one. So we could go for those. If we go for a shorter distance, that usually means we have to charge less at the current charger. And we will, if we go to 100%, it will take much longer to charge to 100% than actually leaving at maybe 70 or 80% and then make an additional charging stop. The additional charging stop takes much less time than trying to get from 80 to 100%. So here, where we have the option, I would say here, what we got here, Rocky Mountain Power or Walmart Supercenter. Electrify America, we know, we're familiar with, we have an account with Electrify America. There is the option to pay, I believe it's $4 a month, okay? And if you travel just like we do on this trip, pay the $4 a month if you use Electrify America, okay? And I clarified with Electrify America, you can sign up just for 1 month. So that's what we're probably will be doing before we leave. I sign up. We already have an account, but it's a free account and it doesn't give us any discounts. But then we pay the whatever $4 or whatever it is for the 1 month, and then we get a discount on charging. And the discount, actually, most of the time, if you do 1 charge, you make that up. If you do a 0 to 80, or let's say a 20 to 80, you probably make that up, that $5 already because of the discount. So that's what we will be doing. We'll be signing up. So let's probably use the Electrify America. It makes it simple, and we kind of know what to expect. But that said, we have a backup charger, okay? So for some reason, if that EA station is completely down, we have a backup right there in Idaho Falls at Rocky Mountain Power. Or if need to, we could actually go all the way down to Pocatello. We could make that. So we have some options here, and that is really cool. But I would say, yep, we're adding the Walmart Supercenter to the trip. And then now let's see. So we could just go from there to Pocatello, or we could make it all the way down to Perry, Utah. So now again, it depends a little bit on how you want to play that game. If you pull in at a lower state of charge and you don't go very high, you can charge faster. With the Bolt, that said, it charges at 50 kilowatts pretty much from the bottom up to 70-80%. So as long as you don't need to go from 80 to 100 with the Chevy Bolt, we're about the same time sitting at a charger. So probably that's a little tricky. We probably could maybe just throw the Pocatello in, and we don't have to stop there. I mean, nobody says we have to. Let's see what we got here. We got, again, that one. Let's throw that one in. So we're just driving a short distance. So we may not charge too much at the previous charger, and then come to this one and just bump it up a little higher so we don't have to sit too long at one charger. But then that said, you never know. You might get to that charger and you may be doing something and having fun and enjoying it, and before you know it, it's charged to 100%. So then we can always change our plans. But so let's add this one in there. And then let's go back down here. Let's zoom out a little. All right, now let's see. So there's Perry, Utah. Let's throw that one in just because. Make it simple. And well, now let's zoom in some more. There is Salt Lake City. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things you could do. Holy moly. Endless options, right? Oops, I clicked there by accident. We could go, let's zoom out a little more here. So we could go, we could almost come down here. What is this? Provo, Spanish Fork. Let's just shoot for that one and see. Let's add that to the trip. Get through Salt Lake. If you wanted to, you could stop in Salt Lake. This is a plenty long trip. This could be easily a 2-day trip if you wanted to. And you could find a hotel with a J1772 with a level 2 charger. Or even with a Tesla destination charger if you do have an adapter. We tested 2 of them. The first one didn't work out for us. The second one did. And we got videos on both of them if you want to go check those out. But yeah, then you could use a Tesla destination charger. Maybe spend the night in Salt Lake. It's a relatively long drive. But we're planning on going all the way. Full blast. Alright, so let's see. What was our last charger here? We had this one. We'll click here on the right, Spanish Fork. We can throw this one in right there. We can throw this one in. Oh, interesting, at the Days Inn, but it's an Electrify America. And then, let's see, we got to add it. There we go. And now we can make it down to St. George. So, let's see here. And then in St. George, basically, depending on where you're going, where you're staying, you may want to supercharge before you go to your hotel or wherever you're staying, unless you have availability there for a level 2 charger. As far as I know, where we're going, we don't have that availability, unfortunately. And so we might just, depending on how tired we are or not, we may pull into where we're going and charge the next day, or we can just throw another one in our route planning here, just one more, just because, and maybe so we have plenty of choose if we maybe get lost in St. George or something. I don't know. It's not such a big town that we can get lost there really easy. That's the guy that says that lives out in the boonies, right? So, but anyway, so now here on the right hand side you see your trip, and it shows you in green what the actual distance is traveled on the road. So that green circle is a radius, so it's not on the road traveling showing, but then over here you can easily see what the actual distance is. So we got 114, 99, 102. Here we only got 48, so that's like nothing. But we can have a shorter charging stop previously, or we can have a short charging stop there, or we can completely skip it. I mean, it totally depends on where and how and so on. But so from this one here, we got then 114 miles. I guess we could skip that one there because that would bring it up to about 170 miles. We could possibly make that. It'll be summertime, so it will be pretty efficient. Or just stop for another 10 minutes there, and maybe you have to go bathroom anyway. Then 107, 70, 77, 102, and then the last one here, it shows 4.2 miles to our destination, or to St. George, not exactly our destination. So that would just be one to top off, and we wouldn't have to do the last one. It's 102 miles from the one before to there, so we can certainly make it to St. George without using that one. I mean, that's the Walmart in St. George anyway, I assume so. And that's as simple as we plan this route, and that's all you need. And as you're traveling, if you feel like, oh, it's lunchtime, maybe we can find another charger, because we left some of these out, obviously. So you can just look in the app, look at your route, and see if you can find some other chargers nearby, and then go there and charge there instead and have lunch there, and yeah, move on from that. So this leaves it really flexible, and you can choose however you want to, and it is within the range of the Chevy Bolt here. We can easily do 150 miles at high speed, no problem, almost under any circumstances. So any of those are really easy to do. So then if you want to, you can save that trip. And if you save it, then you can also pull it back up in your app. So you could add wait times here. So if I look at it and it would decide, how long is it gonna take? Here, let's put in an hour. Let's see here. There we go. Then let's put in an hour here. And then here we do a half an hour. And then here we do an hour. Here we do an hour. Let's do another hour. We could do a half an hour here. Actually, we could have done a half an hour here. Let's see there, half an hour, 70 miles, half an hour. Then here, let's do an hour. Okay, and the last one will leave at 0. And let's see. So total distance is 838 miles, about 12 hours and 37 minutes. Total time including waiting, 19 hours, 7 minutes. So this is a 20-hour trip. And like I said, since you're relatively flexible, you can just stop when you need it. So like you would probably stop for lunch somewhere. We may leave very early that morning, and so we may stop for breakfast somewhere. So we may drive to Butte and have breakfast there, and then we keep going, then we have lunch. So at those stops, obviously we would stop anyway, no matter what, just because we would like to sit down and eat something. Or if you make it a 2-day trip, maybe you stop in Salt Lake and hang out there a little bit. That's another option. So you can split that up, and this is very flexible, and this is just really quick going through. This doesn't take very long. If you don't make a whole video about this, it only takes about 10 minutes to plan this trip here. You don't need to look too deep into this and how far could I go and this and that. It's just an about guide, and you have seen the options we have, and the further south we go, the more options we have for charging, so the easier it will be to adjust. The problem is Montana, Idaho is kind of tough, so northern Utah gets better, but so yeah, this way you have an idea of how many chargers there are and what you can do. So now the next thing we would have to do is plan charging for our stay, during our stay. So we already seen in St. George there is CCS, we have DC fast charging available. Maybe we'll find something else, level 2, but we need to see if we could actually make it from St. George to Zion National Park. And not just there, I mean, we need to get back too. And we need to drive around in the park or see, maybe we use public transportation there, we'll see. We also need to make it to Bryce Canyon National Park, same thing there. Can we charge there? How can we make it back? And this will be all pretty much a little different then, because this will be pretty much level 2 charging rather than DC fast charging, I believe. But that would be basically a different trip, and I'm gonna make a separate video about that, because that planning may take a little longer, because you have to take into account what you're going to do, how early are you getting up, and so on and so forth. Charging options may be limited there, but we'll do that in a separate video. But this here gives you a guide how to plan on PlugShare, real simple to get down there, and you're still flexible. I will also be making a video about how to do this for Tesla chargers here on PlugShare as well as in the car. Tesla's navigation is very advanced and works very well. We've only used the Tesla navigation usually for traveling with the Tesla, unless I was looking up something in advance like we do here, then I might do something on PlugShare at home. But in general, if we travel, we pretty much know there's a Tesla supercharger around. That's the nice thing about those. But hopefully, as you can see, there's a couple that have a wrench showing up. So that means a lot of those are hopefully coming soon. And the more CCS we get, the further we can travel, the faster we can travel, the more convenient we can travel. But you can certainly travel with the Chevy Bolt at 250 miles EPA rated range. That's no big deal. All right, if you got any good information out of this video, please give us a thumbs up for this video. Share it with others. You might have other friends, family. Sometimes friends ask, well, how do you do this? Well, share this video with them so they can see how you can plan travel rather than sit there and trying to explain it to him at the dinner table or something. So yeah, share this video with others, please. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.